The scooter could be laid on its side for changing either of the wheels. The back being the normal car type, the front wheel being slightly more complicated in that it had two coned nuts. From this angle you can see the construction of the exhaust and the rear swing arm. The engine, chain and exhaust system are all carried on a swing arm at the back. This exhaust that's fitted to this model is actually a later type exhaust, the early ones having the fish type of end and also were criticised for being noisy. Well, that's... Underneath the rider's saddle is the manufacturer's plate and also the carburettor tickler. The mobile is fitted with a steering lock underneath this sliding chrome cover. This is the other scooter that Maico's made, the Maicoletta. The Maicoletta was a much more sporting scooter than the Mobile and actually had an electric starter, the starter being of a peculiar pendulum type. From this angle you can see the side of the Maicoletta has a doorway. This is the only means of access without removing the whole of the rear body, but the rear body comes off very easy. The portholes on the side of the Maicoletta are not just for styling. The large one on this side in actual fact is to give you access to the petrol tap while on the move. Clearly seen in this shot is the silencer and the rear chain adjusting mechanism. The silencers are really a one-off item, and it has been a constant problem with Maicoletta owners with trying to reproduce the original insides. They are very complicated. When first imported into Great Britain, the Maicoletta came in standard and deluxe form. For the deluxe you got wheel trims, an 8-day clock and a carrier. However, because things were so competitive in the scooter market in the late 50s and early 60s, it wasn't long before every Maicoletta came in fully equipped. On the right hand side of the dash is the 8-day clock. One can wind it up by reaching inside of the glove box. Also on this side is the ignition switch. In the middle is a hook for your handbag or your bag. To the left of the hook is the ignition warning light. And finally, on the left hand side we have the speedometer. On the right hand side of the dash is the 8-day clock. You wind it up by reaching inside the glove box and turning a knob. Also on the right hand side is the ignition switch. You press the key for the start and turn 4 lights. In the middle of the dash is actually the luggage hook. Above the luggage hook is a steering damper. This knob at the top of the column, you just tighten down if you want your steering a little bit tighter. It is very useful if you attach your Maicoletta to a sidecar. On the left hand side of the dash we have the ignition warning light, and finally the speedometer. The speedometer is almost identical to the Maicomobil item, except for the fact that it goes anti-clockwise. And this is fine, but a bit disconcerting, because as you go faster your needle comes down to the left and you seem to be going slower. The glove box is a very usable item. Inside the glove box is the manufacturer's plate, and also up here behind in the middle is a knob for operating the steering lock. Because this item is hidden, many subsequent Maicoletta owners did not know that in actual fact it was fitted as a steering lock as standard. The toolkit is not very big but adequate for doing most tasks: wheel changing, chain adjustment, spark plug changing, etc. The right hand pedal is the cable operated rear brake. The two left hand pedals are heel and toe operated gear change. Like the Mobile, this is normal motorcycle, 1 down and 3 back. Taking the back body off for maintenance is relatively easy. There being one single bolt down the front end, one wiring clamp, and then with an open side door it's just a question of tilting it at the front and sliding it off. Pendulum type starter motor required only one 11 amp 6 volt battery. This you see here. Although for export, 2 could be specified for very cold countries like Iceland. The fan cooling on the Maicoletta was very efficient. You can see from the large casings around the engine here and the many bladed flywheel that it shoves a lot of air through these casings. It is virtually unknown for a Maicoletta to suffer seizure providing the correct amount of oil is put in the mix. Another feature of the Maicoletta is its black box. This black box is a maligned component long blamed for starter motor malfunction, but in actual fact it very rarely goes wrong. It is usually within the starter itself where the problems occur and in the timing of the engine. Handlebar controls on the Maicoletta are virtually identical to the Mobile. Clutch lever on extreme left, horn and dip switch, moving across to the right we have the front brake and the throttle. Handlebar controls on the Maicoletta are virtually identical to the Mobile. The left hand side lever is the clutch, the switch is the horn and dip switch, and moving across to the right hand side is the front brake and the throttle. The choke is slightly hidden, and for those that don't know where it is can be a problem, but it's underneath the dash panel on this side. Another hidden feature of the Maicoletta was the pump fitted beneath the leg shields. Yeah, it's wrong, behind the leg shields. Start again. Another hidden feature of the Maicoletta, which many owners didn't know about, was the fact that a pump was fitted behind the leg shields, shown here.